Welcome to Eastbourne. I've come away to the south coast for a few days with my dad. And coming to explore a completely new town, the first thing I packed, of course, was my sketching kit. I've just arrived in my hotel room. I'm here for 4 nights. I'm about to go and start exploring, and I'll take my sketchbook with me. But first things first. Cheers. With its gold domes glinting in the sunshine, I couldn't resist sketching the pier, and I made that my first stop. I decided I wanted this sketch to be quite loose, so I went straight in with pen, and I used a fude nib pen to give some variation in the line width. Built in the late 1800s, the pier is 300 metres long and it's built on stilts, which rest in cups on the seabed, and apparently this allows the whole structure to move in rough weather, which apparently it certainly did in 1877 when it was swept away in a raging storm.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Once I finished the line work, I put on a watercolour wash and I kept it quite simple, quite a limited palette, and just really made the gold domes stand out in quite a bright colour.
Oh, that's good, yeah. Lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you very much. One of the attractions along the seafront is the bandstand, but I didn't actually stumble across the concert until it had already started, so I hovered around outside and enjoyed a brass band rendition of Shostakovich. Now it was time for some liquid refreshment before I headed back to the hotel, where I noticed some music-themed memorabilia decorating the lift, with photos and original vinyl pressings of recordings made by the hotel's orchestras, past and present. The next day we took an open-top tourist bus to Beachy Head, and on the way back we stopped at a village inn for some lunch. And of course I took the opportunity to get my sketchbook out and just sketch what was around me while we were waiting for our food. It's quite windy here today, so I'm not really sure where I'm going to end up sketching, but it made me think about these, and I thought I'd mention them in case you're thinking of buying any. I really like these type of clips because they don't make any indentations in the paper. They're very soft, but the drawback with them is, or certainly with the ones that I've found, is that they don't close properly. And I usually clip these to the wristband that goes around my Winsor & Newton pocket field box, and every time I've gone to get them they've fallen off and disappeared into the depths of my rucksack. Quite easy to just drop them and lose them completely, I think. So it's just worth pointing that out. I've tried bending them and trying to make them close more, but to no avail. It's only a minor point, but I just thought I'd mention it in case you are thinking of getting some of these. Just be careful because they're really easy to lose. I've got about half an hour before breakfast, so I thought I'd just do the sketch from my window. Unfortunately, there is scaffolding in the way of my window. I'm just going to try and look through that. I'm obviously not going to try and do the whole thing. It is a very big building, very complicated. Lots of my least favourite things, which is windows and balconies. We'll see how I get on. I've only got half an hour, so let's just see what we get. I think I am going to start a double page. It is forecast to rain today, so I may well end up back up here in my room. One thing that's easy when you've got lots of lines like this is that you can just follow on one line from the other like a jigsaw. Every line connects to another line and you can just build up your picture. But what's difficult is when it's in the distance like this, and if you haven't got the world's best eyesight, it's easy to get your lines confused. So for example here, these windows aren't actually here, they're on this plane here, but you look back and you see some windows and you draw them in and then realise that you're actually looking at this bit here, and you get confused. It's quite hard to make out what's going on, which is why I'm not worrying about it too much, because it gives the overall impression. Yes, it means my perspective is now wrong in that bit, but is my perspective correct in the whole picture? No, it's not. And it's just giving the impression of a row of houses, quite tall houses. And now the further away it gets, the less I can see of it. But we'll just fill in some foreshortened windows that are on the correct plane this time and not worry about it. I think it's giving the overall impression of what's in front of me. If I look at this, I'm going to get a good memory of the view from this room, especially if I draw in the scaffolding poles. And that's what it's all about, really. If I wanted just an accurate picture, well, I've got a phone sitting in front of me and a camera behind me. I'll just use that. Now, I am definitely not going to try and draw this in accurately. I can't see it well enough. I haven't got the patience. I haven't got 3 weeks to sit here doing it. I've got to go home tomorrow. So, I'm going to start off with some clean water. I'm just going to put in the stripe of the sea, the horizon. I can only see a tiny bit of the sea from where I'm sitting. Right. I'm going to add a little red just to darken it up and make that sap green a little more natural. I'm not doing this bit yet because the sea is still wet. Vary it a little from house to house. So I'm just adding a little Payne's grey in. Right, I'm going to go in for some blue with a tiny bit of Payne's grey and just add a little bit of interest to the windows and some shadows that aren't really there. But it needs something, you can't just leave it plain white. Plus I need to cover up those terrible windows that I did here. A little bedroom sketch. It's not going to win any prizes, but it's a total reminder of where I've been sitting. It's our last full day. It's very windy and keeps threatening to rain. But nevertheless, I wanted to finish with one more sketch, and I decided to finish with the same building that I started with, the pier, but from the other side. So I bought an Escoda size 12 travel brush after my trip to Oxford, and I thought today I'd try it out for the first time. I'm just starting with some clean water where I want the sky to go. And then I decided to do the sea at the same time, so I wet that bit of the page too. The sky is quite grey and foreboding, and I did add a little tiny touch of purple later on just to make it a bit more dynamic. I painted the sand very wet, and I actually let it run into the sea in places. I used a bit of artistic license when I did the buildings. Well, it is the seaside after all. I'm really liking this new Escoda brush. It's big enough to apply washes for the sky and the sea and the sand, but also comes to a very nice fine point, so I can use the tip of it for more detail. I have to say that Eastbourne really looks after its gardens, and there are some beautiful bright pink roses in the flower beds here. So just a few final touches, and that's my last sketch of the trip done. I hope you've enjoyed the trip to Eastbourne. Thanks for watching and happy sketching.